A hop, a skip, and a jump south of Bristol, Tennessee is Elizabethton, the next stop of the Lokar Car Show. This week, we stroll through downtown at their Cruise Inn. Our first car was a father and son project.
It's a 1929 Roadster sitting on 1932 frame rails. It's got a 355 small block with a turbo 350. It's got a 1960s era 2.4 tunnel rim bread box intake with two 600 Hollies and a turbo 350. I've had it about 2 years approximately now. And I built it with my father. Oh yes sir, we weekend projects and sometimes do weekdays. I actually seen it on Craigslist. Actually a really nice guy by the name of Roger had it, and it was in Rogersville, Tennessee, and it's about an hour and a half away. I drove down there with the car I actually traded for it, and I got it from him and brought it home. I redone the rear end, the drive shaft, the motor, the radiator, the top, the frame top on it. I hand pinstriped all the flames myself. The wheels, the tires are brand new on it. I just done them this past winter. So basically I've redone everything, including the floors as well. I've always had a fascination with 30s and 40s cars. I've always had, 60s era muscle cars and 70s, and this is the first actual 30s and 20s model car I've ever had. And I really enjoy that era. It's just nothing like any other era that you can get. They ride different, they drive different. It's just a totally different style of car than what any other one is. So I drive it everywhere. We go to Pigeon Forge rod runs every year. I've been up there with it for the past 2 years. I'm planning on going back this fall. It's a really nice show. We enjoy cruising the parkway up there. We cruise around everywhere.
Up next, a date night favorite.
It's a 62 Impala Supersport, resto mod. I've changed the engine, transmission, frames, got Art Morrison frame, LS2 engine, disc brakes all the way around. As far as looks, it looks about like it does. It's got a 4L60 upgraded transmission. It's got a 9-inch Ford rear end, Art Morrison frame, coilovers. Lights are all digital.
With all that work, does he show it off often?
Yeah, we come over here about every Saturday afternoon. It's the best place I've gone to for a cruise in. Well, we show it. We've shown it quite a bit. Okay. My wife's got a beauty shop, and she's got it plumb full of trophies. We've done pretty well with it. She likes the car better than I do. This is what I started out with when we first started dating. Wow. 49 years ago. No, 51 years ago. Well, we've been married 49. Okay. I just like the general look of it. It looks real sporty, yet has a little bit of elegance about it.
And what does the wife like so much about this Impala?
I think it's the fact that I had it whenever I first met her. I tell her the only reason she married me was to get the car.
That's great.
This Chevy is a story of resurrection and death.
My dad bought the truck new in '69. I've had it ever since. I started working on it in '92. I just wanted to fix it up for my dad and everything. He forgot to see it before he passed away, Lord, that tickled him to death. It's a 400 small block, been punched out, chromed, carburetor intake. It's got the ceramic headers on it, Flowmaster mufflers, Ultra wheels on it. Had all of it chromed locally here, most of it. It's the original color. I took the numbers off the glove box dash and they matched it up through the computer and everything. Frank Fitzsimmons painted it. He's a local guy here. And Speedway Upholstery in Jonesburg done the upholstery in it. My dad bought it new, and We've had it out in the tobacco patch, marred to the frame on it, loaded down with tobacco and everything. My daughter will probably get it next.
Coming up, a Chevelle becomes a memorial. The Lokar Car Show is being brought to you by Lokar Performance Products, quality, plain and simple. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. And by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. Welcome back to Elizabethton, Tennessee, the perfect place for a slow cruise. This car's owner is keeping his brothers alive.
My son-in-law found it for me in a barn, and I've been wanting one for a long time. Well, I bought one in 1970, a brand new one, when I come home from Vietnam. I got married and sold it. And ever since then, I've been wanting another one. Built it back just exactly like the one I had, same color. Everything's pretty much the same except for the wheels. They're Foose wheels, they're 17-inch, and most of the car is original. I've had it for about 8 years now.
What condition was it in when he found it?
You could play basketball in the trunk. It was pretty rust. I kid friends about it, said my son-in-law sold me a car that, and I took pictures of it. They fell apart before I went home. We changed just about everything. The color, it was blue and white stripes, and I changed it to the original color that I had, the autumn gold with the tan interior, or saddle interior. It's pretty much as original as I could get it back, yeah. This carburetor, and I did put a bigger cam, thumper cam in it, just to make the sound good, and that's about all. Had to have it bored out, but pretty much stock.
This El Camino fell right in its owner's lap.
It's a 72 El Camino LS5 454 car. It is a matching number car. It's a factory air, automatic. We've had it about 2 years. About a mile down the road, there's a man stopped by the body shop and wanted to know if we was interested in buying a 72 El Camino. This is one of them you just find and somebody stops by and tells you they have it. You need to go look because it might be what you want. It's got a 400 turbo transmission. It's probably got close to 400 horsepower. We went through the engine, and the bottom looks just like the top, put it on the rotisserie, turned it upside down, painted the bottom of it. Slicked the firewall, went through the engine. We put a set of Foose wheels on it. And pretty much kept it old school. We just kept it pretty much factory and just went through everything, put everything.
On the brake?
Yeah, we put new brakes, everything, new brake lines. Everything's it's about a new car, but we upgraded the wheels with a set of Foose wheels. I just like to drive it. I mean, I wasn't an El Camino person that drove this car. If you drive this car, you'll love it.
A happy accident brought this Javelin to its owner.
Going down the road, happened to see it, stopped, talked to the gentleman, worked out a deal on it. Had it for a little over a year now. Looks pretty, about what it is now. A little bit of cleaning, a little bit of touch up here and there.
So what was it about this Javelin he liked so much?
The body styling is different from anything else out there. If you've ever seen one, you remember it. Bright colors, just the way it stands out, the way it grabs attention.
That color combination inside is pretty rare.
Red and black with tan interior, you don't see a whole lot of.
What's it got under the hood?
360, it's automatic. It's still got the air pump, all the original, everything on the original that was put on the original is still here. As far as I know, it all matching. The rims are what originally came on the car, is what I was told.
He's done a lot of expert work. Has Kevin been a gearhead all his life?
All I've ever done is parts. When I was 8, 9 years old, rebuilt starters and alternators, got paid a hamburger, fries, and a medium drink for a day's work.
It's been said that projects are never finished, only abandoned. Does Kevin agree this upgrade is a never-ending process?
You're never finished with one. Looking for parts right now.
Really?
Upgrade, spoiler packages.
When we saw this classic Riviera, we had to take a closer look.
It's a 66 Riviera Grand Sport. I've only had it about 3 weeks. Well, it's it's really, I call it a family car. It's more or less just a run-around car. It has power windows, power steering, power brakes, power antenna, power trunk latch. It has all the options that they featured in this year. But it's just a good driver, and got the nail-head engine, 425, 340 horsepower. Yeah, I like to drive them. They drive good and ride good, and I just like them, you know.
Coming up, a sedan with a wild side. We're back in Elizabethton, Tennessee, where everyone wanted to be on camera. This old Chevy will never be complete.
It's a 1937 Chevrolet town sedan. I've had the car about over 20 years. Came from up about Abington, Virginia.
That old girl's been around a long time. How many times has he restored it?
Several times. I'd say I've had the body off the frame at least twice. This is probably the third motor I've had in it. It's a driver. We were in Louisville, Kentucky last weekend for the Street Rod National. We drove it there and back.
Now that it's fixed up, what does he do with it?
It's a show car, a driver car. The engine I had in there, I wasn't all that satisfied with it. Well, it's just, I don't know, something you want to change. Power, I wanted a fuelie. Fuel injection is a thing now. Well, the Ramjet is an engine that Chevrolet never put in a street car. They more or less made it for the marine industry. But it runs great in a street rod. It's fuel injected, it's got a lot of horsepower. It's got a true roller rocker, true roller cam. Really extremely responsive to the accelerator. Just an all-around good fuel-injected engine. I've only painted it one time, had it painted one time. That's not my work. When I bought it, it had a very similar color on it, and I like the color scheme pretty well. That's something I'm not very good at, matching colors, so everybody talks about how good it is, how good that color matches, but that wasn't me. That didn't come from me.
That was one of the last things we expected to find at a cruise-in like this.
It's all the original parts, everything was original on it, just like it was made from the factory. Everything on it is brand new, from the floor up. I had a friend of mine put it together, and it's got a 4-cylinder Ford motor in it, and flathead 4-cylinder. That's original. That's the original way they come out. This one was the last one the Army made to come out the assembly line. This has the independent suspension, and like I say, they were the last ones that come off the assembly line. The Jeep rides surprisingly well to be an old Army Jeep with the more suspension what it has on it. It does ride real well. Top speed run out of it about 60. You can go on the internet at these depot places and find parts, and there's still some floating around here in the area. People's had old ones where they've set out in fields and kind of just let go, and you can still. But I prefer, if I'm putting anything on this, it's going to be new. I always wanted one because I'm a retired veteran. 22 and a half years in Saudi Arabia for 8 months. And when I was in the Guard, when I first got in 74, one. We had these in the guard. That's what we used to go to summer camp with. In Georgia, Mississippi, we drove them. We had a few of them we drove. And I just got partial to them, you know. I always liked the old Jeep. And I said I wanted one of these days. So when I found out this was for sale, I went hard at it.
Our next feature sure rings a bell.
I'm 18, and it's just old school stuff's just always appealed to me and stuff, and had a lot of buddies that's done a lot of stuff like this, you know. A lot of my dad's friends and stuff's into old school stuff, so just easier to do old school stuff because you don't have to have as much money and spend all the money on all the billet stuff. I got it out of Atlanta, Georgia.
How did a guy this young learn so much about such an old car?
A lot of research in magazines and a lot of talking to old drag racers and stuff, just a lot of research and stuff.
Now that he's souped it up so much, what does he do with it?
I race at street fights and at Bristol Motor Speedway and do a little bracket racing, not a lot. It ran a 1301 at 101 in the quarter Thursday night. It was the best pace it's made to date.
Coming up, a truly rare breed. This Lokar Car Show has been brought to you by Lokar Performance Products. Quality, plain and simple. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. And by AMS, because we care. This Oldsmobile was chosen for its rarity.
They're few and far between. You just can't find them. You can't even find parts for it anymore. My brother-in-law had it, and he had built a carport, and the carport's blowed down on it, and it was just sitting there with the top flat down against the seats. And I got it from him. It took me about, I guess, 4 months to find the top for it. So I just went from there. It's got a Chevelle front end under it, disc brakes. It's got a 66 model Oldsmobile engine and transmission. And the rear end's stock, everything else on it's stock. Of course, this steering wheel and power steering and everything. I put new carpet in it. Had naturally putting a new top in it, I had to put new upholstery on top, on the roof. And the rest of the inside, the seat covers and stuff had been done. I put power windows, it's got power windows on it. I've got a grandson, he's 22 years old, and he says when I pass, it's his. So I guess it'll go to him. Keep it in the family. The car just drives good, it rides good. I've been driving it for 10 years just like it is.
This Bel-Air gets a lot of attention.
It's a 1957 Bel-Air convertible. It's a all original 283 power pack engine, automatic transmission. That's the engine that comes with it. Everything matches. I just like convertible. I've had 3 or 4 of them, so I like them. That's original color, dust pearl. Well, I've got a hard top like this, but it's not, it's souped up, so I just like something, I guess I got too old. They say if it's too loud, you're too old. I like something quiet, peaceful.
What was it that drew him to this Bel-Air in the first place?
There are not very many around. They're unusual.
They are?
Yeah. And you get a lot of attention from it. I just take it to car shows.
Well, since it's a convertible, why isn't the top down?
My wife can't stand the wind, so she wins out. We put it down occasionally. Okay. And today it looked like it was going to rain.
This week's Lokar Lowdown, we're going to do some customizing with our shifter levers, and you can choose all different kinds of ones, Brian, depending on what your project is, and whether you're into the street rod stuff, whether you're more into like the Tri-5s or something. A lot of guys are using those for the Tri-5s, but Lokar, something for everybody.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to cover all the different facets that are out there right now. You know, you've got the guys with the high-tech look, they want the billet that's windowed. We've got the guys with the street rods that like the teardrop type design, something that's a little bit softer. Then we've got your traditional guys, your 62 Chevy that's got a 4-speed in it, or a 5 or a 6-speed. The guy's upgraded to a 5 or 6-speed in there. He wants a different lever that'll work around his bench, which we have this bend here that kind of works real good with bench seats. We've got you covered in just about every way. Chrome, we got it in black or our Midnight series as well. The same with the billet stuff. You can get the billet stuff either in the machine finish, or you can get that in Midnight series as well.
And then, yeah, and then we get right into taking it to the top and the whole line of the shift knobs that you have, whether they're solid, whether we have the push buttons. It's just something for everybody.
There's a little bit of something for everybody, and that's what we're trying to do. We've got, you know, small 6-inch levers. We've got the boot bezels over here where you can kind of dress it up as you need to finish the product off.
Quality, plain and simple. You can find out more first by hopping on their Facebook page, or you can go to their website, find out about the entire line of Lokar products at lokar.com.
That's all from Elizabethton's Cruise In. The Lokar Car Show is hanging around Tennessee for another week as we take a trip northwest to Knoxville, Tennessee, at the Fort Loudon Yacht Club. See you there.